Now, our next guest on Monday's Morning Focus is taking on a challenge that will test both his physical and mental endurance. Jonathon Hickey, the founder of Built by JH Fitness, is preparing to cycle an incredible 750 kilometres from the west of Ireland to Newcastle United's famous St James's Park Stadium this July and August. The fundraiser is aiming to support two very worthy causes, and Jonathon joins us now to tell us about the journey ahead, the motivation behind it, and how people can get involved and support the cause. Jonathon Hickey, how are you?
Not too bad now, Alan. Thanks very much for taking the phone call, and to the rest of your colleagues and stuff like that as well for having me on to share the monumental challenge that faces myself in the 31st of July. So really appreciate you being able to create awareness for Féileacáin and Go Mental Health, which are two incredible charities that are close to me for different reasons, both personal and from a health coaching perspective. Individuals I see that have faced their own challenges, whether it be mentally, physically, and then obviously with Féileacáin, losing a baby pre or post, during pregnancy and stuff like that. So that's the big reason why I'm doing it, to raise much needed awareness and funds for the families that are affected by it.
Well, we're only too delighted to have you on and to have you on to highlight this. And the reason you're doing it, as you say, is for Féileacáin and Grow Mental Health. Two fantastic causes, two fantastic charities, Jonathon, but you mentioned personal connection. What is it about Féileacáin and Grow Mental Health that resonates with your own life, your own personal experiences?
Yeah, so as a family member, as a family man myself, so having two kids, I understand, the pressures that are on certain, males, females and stuff to have a family of their own, and sometimes that's not possible, and then obviously when they do, and sometimes for whatever reason or another and stuff like that, the baby passes on. So, and with my own coaching with it is like I help people go through those challenges and being a part of their journey and seeing the challenge that they go through from it. So from that perspective, Alan, that's where it's a big thing for me. And then from the Grow Mental Health, obviously I haven't had people pass on, due to their own mental health struggles. Just to be able to talk about it more and more openly as a male myself and stuff like that as well. To get people to understand that it's all right to talk, not to keep their challenges or their problems bottled up to themselves. I know it's easier said than done, but knowing that there's someone there that is willing to offer an ear, no matter how big or small the problem may be, because we can share the problem shares the problem halved. So that's another reason and stuff like that is the reason why I've opted for, Grow Mental Health and obviously Féileacáin to help spread the awareness from them.
Okay, well, look, fair play to you. This is going to be, you use the word monumental, which I think is a quite apt way to describe this. And even for someone who is a fitness instructor, it is going to be a huge undertaking. When did this idea first germinate, Jonathon? And surely there was a little voice inside your head that went, "Don't do it, Hickey, you're mad."
Yeah, well, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm always like, I'm a ginger by nature and stuff like that, so we've got a stubbornness in us. So it's the thing. I never shy away from a challenge when it comes to it, and obviously be able to do it. Most often, people will look at things and think they have to do things, but like I have a body, I have a vessel to be able to go and do these things. So, going to test the body and see what it can do. And suppose it was back last year and stuff like that. I was doing some training, whatever, and I just come off the back of just doing another event. And I was like, you know what, now I'm going to set a monumental challenge. I was sat here with my wife, Lisa, whatever, and she was like, you're what? She said, there's no way. She said, you're going to be doing so many other things next year. And I was like, well, there's the reason there now and stuff. I'm just going to go and do it. And I just threw myself into it. So it just stemmed from just being at home talking and then being able to just like, right, what can I do versus what I can't do. When it comes to it, and I've like put in the mileage and stuff like that, and like obviously when I go out on the road and put in the mileage, to get the endurance into the legs, I'm never going to be able to understand the challenges that individuals will go through, only for the only challenge that I will see and stuff like that myself when I embark on this journey. And obviously a journey of personal development as well, because when you'll be with your own thoughts, there'll be the little devil on the left-hand side will be telling you, no, don't go, and then the next one will be saying, right, keep going and stuff like that. You're nearly at checkpoint Charlie, so you can rest your limbs and rest your legs and stuff like that. So that's where it all stemmed from. It's just like sit here on the couch, really and truly. My wife, whatever, she thinks I'm mad. But like that again is because obviously she's got her own concerns. But like that, I've never I say not a whole concern for my own welfare and stuff like that, but because I never shy away from a challenge, and we'll see it through to the end.
And it's going to be a big challenge. Why St James's Park, Jonathan? That's in the northeast of England. It's one of the great grounds in the Premier League. Are you a long-suffering Magpie supporter, or was it just an ideal spot to head to for this challenge?
Well, you said it, Alan, and stuff like that. Some people say it's one of the most iconic. It is the most iconic. But obviously this year's Premier League standings don't really figure that much out because of our counterpart Sunderland are ahead of us. But so I've been through the era, the ups and downs from when Alan Shearer stepped into town, whatever, and have stayed with him ever since. And then obviously being able to be brought over there when I was a little kid and stuff like that with my dad, very first game, seeing Bobby Robson, the late Bobby Robson and stuff like that. So it's a place that obviously, it's a home away from home really and truly. I get to bring my kids over, not quite regularly, but regularly enough when it comes to it. So it's just something that holds a place dearly in my heart, and obviously with the charities that links in then as well, because obviously there's a place in the heart and stuff for the charities, and obviously the iconic football stadium. So what a place to start in the west of Ireland, gorgeous picturesque environment that we're in, and then obviously finish off in the iconic St James's Park outside the Alan Shearer statue.
Yeah, and I'm sure even as a kid, the excitement you felt when you arrived at St James's Park, I'd say it'll be more relief when you get there on the bike later in the summer. So you'll be heading on the 31st of July. How long do you envisage it will take you, Jonathan? And how long have you been preparing for this and training? What does that involve?
Yeah, so I've been preparing since before Christmas. I have brought on a logistical manager and stuff like that who's helping me, so credit to Dave and Dave Keane. So he's helping me map out in case we need any medical routes and stuff like that, or any kind of interventions along the way and stuff like that, in case the old bike Megamind decides to let me down and break down along the route. But every week and stuff, I get out onto the bike to do anywhere between 90 and 140 kilometres outside of the other modality of training that I will do, whether it be spinning bike myself or my own strength training. So that will take up on average usually between 4 to 10 hours per week, depending on where I'm at in a block of training. And then in terms of the whole overview of Alan stuff, we start on the 31st. That could be the longest day. It'll be 200 kilometres from here. I'll be starting off from my cousin's graveside in Shannon, and then I'll be going all the way to Kinnegad, which is about 200 kilometres. And then we'll be getting onto the ferry or the boat in Dublin Port. So we're looking at about 6 to 7 days to finish. So we'll hope to finish the following Saturday at St James's Park, give or take. Obviously, hopefully that everybody's looking down on me and stuff like that, that we get there safe and sound and there's no kind of hiccups along the way. But with a journey like this, there's bound to be a hiccup, whether it be punctures, something of that nature happening.
Yeah, well, look, hopefully you can overcome whatever hurdles present themselves. A fantastic challenge, and we wish you well with it, Jonathan. Plenty of time between now and then for you to continue your preparations and training, and plenty of time for people to get involved and help out. So how can they do so? Is it through a GoFundMe iDonate page, or what other ways can people contribute?
Yeah, so we'll have the setup and I donate. So we're just having a little bit of a technical issue at the moment, just to make sure everything's linked in. But that should be live this evening. So people, if they want to support, or they want to see, as I refer to myself, Alan, as Ginger Gimley, they want to see Ginger Gimley suffer on the bike along the way and stuff, they can go onto my Instagram page at Jonathon_Hickey. It'll be in my bio in there, but I'll also have it on my personal Facebook page, Jonathon Hickey, as well. So if they keep an eye out in there, I say I'm not looking for anything whatsoever. I'm just looking to create awareness, and if people are in a position to donate, well and good. If not, if they would just like and share it, to maybe put in a position and stuff that the people that are in a position to share, would be greatly appreciated, and obviously to donate as well.
Okay, well, look, hopefully as many people as possible can help out and raise awareness, and look forward to speaking to you after you've completed the challenge to see how you got on. But for the moment, Jonathon Hickey from Built by JH Fitness, thanks very much for having a chat with us on Morning Focus.
Thanks very much, Alan, to you and the rest of your colleagues for having me on. It's much, much appreciated.
Not a problem, and we'll speak to you again soon.